Welcome back to Texas Women in Music. I'm your host, Shauna Rose, and today we're diving into the heart of indie rock and Americana with a band that knows how to turn raw emotion into unforgettable soundscapes. Led by a powerhouse vocalist, songwriter, and guitarist, Eline Chavez. When did you first fall in love with music?
I can pinpoint it to a concert. I'd been to many concerts throughout my life, including seeing Bonnie Raitt when I was younger, who was amazing.
Yeah.
My dad took me. I don't remember how I got there. I think I was maybe 10. But the concert that really did it for me, I think 11-ish. And somehow I managed to see Melissa Etheridge when she was touring on the Brave and Crazy album
Wow.
at the Majestic Theater in San Antonio. And I didn't know anything about her. My brother was the music guy who was always getting into different things. And then I went there. I didn't know what she was singing about. I just knew I wanted to do that and I wanted to play guitar. So I got home and I told my mom I want to play guitar. And so she bought me my first guitar and that was it.
Wow. Wow. Do you have a favorite brand of guitar?
Yes, I have 3 different Telecasters. I've gone through the Rickenbacker phase, the Gretsch phase. I've gone through all the phases, and I always end up back at the Telecaster. I have one in particular that was gifted to me many, many moons ago, it feels like at this point. But she was actually, and yes, I do. I have a friend of mine who gets upset when musicians name their guitars, but um, he finds great offense to that. But she's a black Telecaster with gold flecks in the paint, and it's on. She was actually on the cover of Love You More. That's still up online right now. So
Oh, wow. That's
yeah,
cool.
that was a long answer for Telecaster. That's my favorite.
Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah. You mentioned some of your biggest musical influences. Do you have any others that you'd like to mention?
Oh, Chrissy Hynde, the Pretenders. She's a big one. Yeah. Sharon Van Eaton. Right, I went like everybody else. I had my boy genius moment. I wish they would come back and give us another album, but I got a chance to see them in New Orleans at the park, and it was just amazing. Like I got to see Julian Baker before she was Julian Baker, part of Boy Genius at South by accident. A friend of mine and I went to a little show that she was playing, and I just thought she was amazing back then. So now she's just, this guitar genius, and I'm always she's always trying to emulate other people's pedal boards, and I'm always trying to emulate hers. So I don't know what that means. We're copycats of copycats, but whatever
Well,
works, right?
yeah, I mean, that's the best form of flattery, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, how has your background or upbringing shaped your sound?
I definitely have my mom's writing um, background. I stole everything from her in terms of if there was a napkin, a scrap piece of paper, if there was a pencil nearby, I was probably writing something. She used to just, my parents owned a restaurant when we were growing up, and she never got to follow her dreams of writing and singing. And so I've kind of tried to carry the torch for her, so to speak. But and so I would always see it, and we'd be walking around the restaurant, and there would be little scraps of paper with words and stuff that she was probably doodling on for whatever
Oh.
for whatever my dad might have made her mad or something. So
Her little journal.
exactly, it's a journal via song, yeah. So
Oh, that's cool. And so do you find random pieces of things to write on?
oh yeah, I have notebooks on notebooks and random pieces of construction paper. Recently, they finally sold their business, and I didn't realize it, but my mom had been holding on to a bunch of my journals, and they're everything from actual like journal notebooks to it looks like because we were laughing about it. It just happened that we were looking at it this weekend, but she there was a binder that she put together, and I guess had took the time to like hole punch it, and put it in this binder, all the different pieces of paper that she had found of mine. And she, I it was funny because on one end it's a memory, on the other end I was like, oh, throw that away. Those are all awful. Just ugh. Just use them for kindling or something. But yeah, so yeah, she's a little pack rat when it comes to her kids, and that was one of her little pack rat things, bunch of songs that I wrote when I was, 11, 12, 13, stuff like that. So
That's so beautiful, though. She took the time to put it all together instead of, shoving it in a box. Here you go, here's your stuff. You know?
right. Yeah.
That's so cool. So whenever you look back at those, whenever you were looking back at those, did anything like bring up different kind of memories, or was it just kind of, oh, this is cool, or why did I even write that?
I think the biggest thing is that I have always felt like an outsider. And I've been writing about how I feel like an outsider apparently
Okay.
since I was a kid, because there was one in particular, and that I just thought I always knew I was lonely and awkward. And then that just kind of confirmed it for me. So, it's like, okay, it was, you know, that was life. I think all musicians, songwriters are. There's a little, um, I was talking to a friend of mine over the weekend too, who is an electrician by day. And he was telling me, well, I always thought it was cool. I was like, no, dude, you're a nerd, just like the rest of us. If you play something, if you write something, if you paint
Creatives.
something, you're
Yeah.
creatives in general. We're just nerds searching to be cool, not realizing that we were cool to begin with.
Ooh, I like that.
So
That sounds like a lyric to a song, huh?
I
Huh?
know you need to write that down. I have my notepad,
Get a
so
napkin.
just
No.
get a napkin. Let's go. But yeah,
So can you walk us through your songwriting process?
no, because
Okay.
it's different. It's I will sometimes somebody will make me mad, and I'll immediately think of a lyric and I'll write it down somewhere. And sometimes I come back to them, and sometimes I don't. I was through an interesting thing that happened with the band. And part of the reason that we're rebranding and doing some things is we had a situation. And from that, my bass player said, well, now you have 10,000 reasons and things to write about. And I immediately, like, and because it was like a group chat with my drummer and my bass player. Well, now you have 10,000 things to write about. And I was like, immediately just went and penned something off. And 5 minutes later, I had the entire song. And then I had to sit there and go, okay, but what am I going to play this to? So then I had to hum it out. So there, it's just any, I'm inspired or annoyed or however you want to phrase it by life and just the everyday things that happen to us. So yeah, and another friend of mine, who I know through my day job, he texted me a couple weeks ago just to see how that new house was going. He's like, "Hey, do you need anything?" I was like, "No, I'm good. I'm good. I'm just trying to find my socks." And there was a whole, as you kind of know, there was this whole thing with my AC that went to a larger thing of this house. And the whole time he's just laughing. And he goes, why do these things always happen to you? I guess, because I write them and other people pick up on them or they go through the same thing. And so I'm relatable that way, I guess. I don't know. But
Yeah. Yeah, everybody, there's a crass saying that misery loves company, right?
right.
But I think on a positive side, you may be helping people get through what they're needing to get through.
Yeah,
And
I,
so
I
that's
like to think so.
a beautiful thing. Very beautiful. So tell us about the premise of the song I Am Sorry.
Oh, how many hours do we have?
Let's strap
Uh,
in, sister. Come on.
whew. So it's about a relationship and the fact that the person just stunk at apologizing. And because that's how she was raised, uh, she doesn't apologize. She'll make you a yummy dinner, or she will she tries to make up for her inability to say I'm sorry by doing things and buying things, but just a simple heartfelt I'm sorry would have worked, right? And so there's a line in that song that says, I'm sorry, I know you didn't mean it. And it really came from me trying to be understanding of how she was raised and why that wall is there. And so it's my way of apologizing to her for what she went through as a kid and then justifying it. But I think there's this thing that I've been learning lately where it's not okay, right? It's not okay to just because that's how you were raised doesn't mean that it's okay to not apologize. And that was like it was a kind of an epiphany song for me because I grew up in a weird situation, right? You know, I kind of hinted to it already. We grew up in a restaurant. My parents didn't have a lot of time. They did the best they could. And, you know, over time, I've just gotten to where like I have come to where I say about everything, which is my parents meant well. And I have to just remember like everybody's parents, most likely, you know, in large part. There's some that are, you know, but in large part, most parents just did the best they could, you know, and for that, I am thankful for my parents. But the flip side is sometimes there are people who just take that and they become it, and it's that never ending repeating cycle of, well, my parents have treated me this way, and I know I'm like them, but I'm not going to change.
Yeah.
So what do you do with that, right?
Yeah.
You write a song and you you say, I'm sorry. I know you didn't mean it. No, you didn't mean it, but you're not going to say I'm sorry. And that's kind of where I'm at.
Tell us about the song Call You Home.
It has to do a lot with it. Just a couple of my friends and then myself, of course. I think life continues to throw crap at all of us, especially lately. And what we're all, I think, trying to get to is a place to call home. And sometimes it's a person, sometimes it's a city. And home has so many variations, right? For me, I consider myself through and through a New Yorker. It's where I feel the most at peace, which a lot of people find odd. But I never feel lonely in New York, which is odd. And there's so many muses to write about there, and I have really good friends. But here in Texas, it's a different kind of home. It's my parents, and um, trying to reestablish that relationship with them because I've been such a nomad for so long. And it's just, you know, everybody's going through that, I think. And sometimes even those who are married and have kids, and they're still yearning for just that place where you can exhale and know you're going to be okay. And that's kind of what that's about.
And just be okay
Right.
with being your 100% authentic self.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I know a lot of people are struggling with that. And it was kind of my way of letting others know and those who have expressed that kind of loneliness to feel like they're not the only ones, because I think more people are going through it. Not everybody talks about it, right? So
Right.
how do you make it to where they understand, you know what, we're all in the same boat, just
Yeah.
trying to find a place to exhale.
Yeah.
So
Wow. Tell us about the song in the video, My America.
oh, I could probably change a couple of things and it'd be still applicable today, right? That came from just all the stuff that was happening during the Black Lives Matter movement, and everything with George Floyd, and watching people struggle to deal and cope with all of it. And I think we're in the same situation now where we're trying to understand how people can be so cruel. And yeah, it was a period piece that I thought would be a period piece that maybe I would never play again, that has become relevant again right now.
Yeah.
So we went from pandemic times to this, and all the parades and marches that happened over the weekend. We just live in a crazy time. And the title My America is, you know, really there's a line in there about my dad. You know, my dad's a man of few words. He has a lot of jokes and horrible puns, but he was in the military when he was drafted during Vietnam, and you know, he that's his line. He said, I didn't fight for this America. This is not, you know, this is not my America." So that's actually his line. And then, my mom is an immigrant. She didn't, probably the sole reason that my family's business stayed in business as long as it did, almost 40 years before they finally retired. But, she didn't, she came over and cleaned houses. And then, her and my dad met, whatever, and the rest is history, so to speak. But, those are the people that were cleaning the houses. That was my mom, you know
Yeah.
and we're in the same boat, and it's the same people who are doing the jobs that a lot of us wouldn't even want to do, right?
Yeah.
So why the intolerance? I have no idea.
Yeah.
Uh, it's just sad all the way around. And I've gotten to the point where I was an avid consumer of news and just, we got to fix this. And now I just like need to take a step back.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. That's tough. I mean, sometimes shutting things off so you can process everything yourself is more healing than listening to people. Da, 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 da.
yeah,
So, yeah.
for sure. And I try to remind myself that there's still beauty in the world. There's I have wonderful neighbors, and my dog is pretty goofy. She doesn't know anything. So I just
Yeah.
try to, when things get real heavy, I just kind of look at her and be like, "You have no idea what's going on, do you?" She just knows
Yeah.
she wants cookies. I want to be like that.
I want cookies too.
I just want cookies and a good nap.
Yeah. And a belly rub.
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
When did Onism E begin?
It was an experiment. I was I'd just gotten back to Texas. I'd been living in Georgia at that point for a while. I'd been bounced around. I'd left New York and went to Georgia, had a band there, and we were signed for a little while. Fell apart, came back home, all the normal musician things, it sounds like. I'm just another musician who bounces around trying to get something that makes sense. But I had a drummer and I had a bass player, and I was looking for lead guitars. And it just so happened this young kid who, I think at the time he was 19, 20, something like that. And then, the band just wasn't working. I cut them off, but he kind of just inspired me the way he thought about music. When they're when you're that young and you just have no idea that there's rules, right? The rules to writing and all the other garbage that goes with that, right? And he kind of just had a way of coming up with songs out of a hat and just doing weird things. And I don't remember how we met. I think he I still can't remember. I know I met him at a job that I was at for a very brief stint, and we just got to talking about music, and it was just like, oh, blah blah blah, and I do this and I do that, and I was like, oh, hey, well, I've got this little studio in my house. You should come over sometime. And we started writing songs, and he had written this song that I kind of finished for him called Reach, that we're thinking about bringing back to life. And it just kind of was a sucker punch, so to speak, in terms of how it made me feel. It was just a really dark and heavy song that I didn't know I needed to write. And then so that was like the domino to us working together quite a bit. And so we put this little EP out, and when we were trying to put the EP out, I was like, well, what do we name this? Right. And he kind of looks at me, he goes, I just went down this rabbit hole on the word onism. And he showed me this video that sent him down the rabbit hole. And so we sat there watching it. Onism, the word is it's a word about, knowing that you're in one place at one time and you can just be anywhere else. You could be anybody else, but you are who you are and you're in the place that and it's that frustration of knowing that. And I was like, oh, I love that. Let's take that. Let's go. And we started out as Onism EV, so my first initial and his last initial, which is because his last name was Votion. I was like, this it makes no sense. People are going to ask a million and one questions, but that's how it started off. And then he left because he decided to move to Houston with his girlfriend, now wife. And I just dropped the V and I kept the Onism E part. Right? So yeah, that's how it
Oh,
started.
wow. Wow. So who's in the band now?
So who's in the band now? My bass player. This is This is the fourth iteration of this band, which is why we're in the process of just wiping the slate clean.
Yeah.
But I've got my bass player. His name is Gabe Chavez. He's not related to me. He has the exact same name as my older brother, but he's not related to me. And then I have Alfredo Alanis, who is my drummer. They're just one's an old soul and the other one's just old. No, just I know he's gonna watch this. That's why I said that. But so yeah, it's been a never-ending kind of like checkers and chess game where I'm just trying to find the right pieces and where the right vibe is. And when I found Gabe, it was like a little light went off for me. He thinks about music, he's actually going to school for music. So we're very polar opposite. Like I learned how to play by ear and he's very technical, but the technical doesn't override the soul that he has for the music. Like he just knows where to go with something. And I love that about him. And he'll tell me, no, yeah, that sounds awful. Let's not do that. Right. So and then Alfredo's just he's a big ball of energy. He's also classically trained. He's always, he's going to school now with a private teacher. These are the kind of guys that I've been looking for my whole life. Sometimes it feels like, because they not only love what I do, they love what they do. And it shows, because then it comes together and it just makes this unique sound where everybody just wants to be there. And it's just a good vibe. So,
Yeah. Wow. That's cool.
yeah.
All this time, where have you been all my life?
Yeah. And then I think to myself, everything happens for a reason, right? So I had to go through the mud and the murky waters to find the two little diamonds in the rough that they are, because they're great, but getting them to work together is like a whole nother, little bit of like polishing of the gem. Like, okay, you stop talking, you give me more ideas, you sit down, go get some water. Alfredo's pretty hyper and Gabe's really calm. And then I'm kind of like that middle of the way kind of one. So
Yeah.
it's a good mix. It's a good mix.
If you've ever been to one of their shows, you know the energy is electric. But what really makes it special is the bond they create with fans in the moment. Let's talk about that connection. What is your most memorable performance experience?
Of all time, I got to play at the 40 Watt in Athens, Georgia, once upon a time.
Wow. What was
And the
that like?
venue, it's just that moment of, I think I might have made a living at this. Yeah, I think this is definitely where I need to belong. I've been struggling for such a long time. And then we played this place called Eddie's Attic in Decatur. And the story that I always hone in on is that we were Eddie's Attic used to do this singer-songwriters, songwriter round. I can't remember what it was called, but it would lead to this open mic shootout where over the course of, half a year, they would do these Monday nights and the winner would go to the next round and next. So it's kind of like a bracket kind of a deal. And we made it through and we go up to the finals. I'll never forget it because we went up against this band called Lo-Fi Masters and that guy was good. He was really good. And we were sitting we decided to go grab a beer outside and he had this cool little outdoor area and we tried to say something nice to him and he just kind of blew us off. I hope he sees this because that person was John Mayer
No way.
and he won that year. And that's my story about him because he was just, I don't talk about bad about anyone. I try not to, but I just remember thinking he could have been nice. We were being really polite to him.
Yeah.
We're like, hey man, you're really cool. That was a really great song. And he just kind of looked at us and blew us off and then went back to doing what he was doing. So, but yeah, we lost to John Mayer. So that's my story. I'm sticking to
Wow.
it.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
How do you prepare for a live show?
We're at that very much at methodical way of doing it. We don't want to lose the funk and the energy of our live, but we've really started to hone in on like what do our transitions look like? Where are we? How are we going to feel the vibe to go, okay, we're going to transition here. Like all the songs have structure, but we're at that point where like we really want to put on a show that people are like walk away from it and go, that was really damn good. right?
Yeah.
So that's where we're at. We've been fiddling around with the lineup, and now the lineup is solidified. So now we're fiddling around with our chemistry and trying to lock in that part, because we'll have nights where Gabe's on fire and I'm on fire, and then Alfredo's kind of in La La Land, or then it's Alfredo and Gabe are locked in, and I'm in La La Land. So we're trying to get to where we understand, like, we all need to be locked in, we all need to be focused, we all need to get to where we're understanding where things should end, or that natural progression of, okay, I'm ready to close out this lead or whatever. So yeah, we're like on repeat, watch, repeat, until we get it right. We're locking in now.
Yeah, fine tuning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you had any interesting or funny fan interactions?
Does the restraining order count?
It sure does.
It wasn't an official restraining order. I tell the story that way just because it makes it funny. But yeah, we just had this one fan that just found out where we lived. Like, and we lived 2 hours. It would have been 3.5 hours away from this one city where we played. And there were just random gifts on the porch and things of that nature. It just got a little weird. Got a little weird.
Mm.
So my bass player at the time finally caught her in the act, and she was like, "Well, I just thought you guys were really good." Okay. And that was the last time we saw her. So
Oh,
she
wow.
just wanted, I guess, recognition or to be able to say hello. But still a little odd that she figured, that was back in the day before the internet. So yeah.
Oh,
Anyway.
yeah.
Yeah, because I'm ancient that way. No, just kidding.
Whatever. You don't look it.
Well, thank you. Thank you. No, but that was like, before it was really easy to kind of pinpoint somebody's location. So it was a little odd, but we figured she just probably followed us at night. We didn't know, because it turned out she only actually lived like an hour away, but she saw us play 3 hours away. I don't know. Anyway, so
Wow.
that's my story. It was interesting times.
Yeah. That was for the serious fans.
Right. We've played we've played a couple of shows where it's just like where we'll get t-shirts that are thrown at us, and then we realize that the girl's just walking around in the bra, and we're just like, okay.
It was her.
That one right there. You
Yeah.
want your shirt back? Okay.
Since you're, quote, ancient, which I don't believe,
Right.
how has the music industry changed since you started?
Oh man. But in a perfect world, I just wish Spotify and those kinds of places would go away. They make it. The good thing is that nowadays, fans want stuff, right? They want vinyls coming back. I've even seen some that are actually selling CDs. I think it ebbs and flows. Austin has always been a picky town about who they allow into their inner circle, and they've started to allow us to get there. That struggle is as old as the day is long, right? How do you get into the good venues? How do you set up the good lineups? How do you do those kinds of things so that you can get in front of the people that would like your music? That's always been a struggle. That's remained constant. You have to just work your butt off. The rest, the social media, the streaming instead of buying, you can only say so many times, please buy things. Because when you start, I struggle with that whole aspect of it. Because, on one end, I'm just like, I'm not, I'm not a big social media person. I'm on for the funny dog and horse videos. I don't want to peddle my face online. It's just, and then you have these people who are like, well, you have to. I'm like, can't I just put on a bitchin' rock show and it's somebody posts something for me so I don't have to? The music industry is what the music industry is. There's always something to not like about it, right? Doesn't matter if it was back when the Beatles were around or now that we've got these powerhouses like Billie Eilish and Phoebe Bridgers. There's always something that we can nitpick at. And as a community, we have to be better about supporting each other and encouraging each other. I think that's the biggest thing that we have to do, because with social media being the way it is and Spotify giving us, 0.00000 whatever 3 of a cent per stream, you just have to be a big hustler, right? In terms of advocating for yourself and finding the right shows. but that in itself is the statement. That's always been the way it is. You
Yeah.
know, Bruce Springsteen has so many stories about how he played to 5 people. Yeah, but me too, right? Me too. And it's just a matter of not getting discouraged, doing the work, putting out good quality music, and then make sure you're refining and refining and refining again your live set, but not to the point where you lose why you did it. A lot of my songs are just about trying to get people to understand that they're not alone in their thoughts and their gloominess and their depression, that we all go through it. So just hang on, wait for the other day, wait for the sunrise. Yeah. So I don't remember what we started talking about, but yeah.
The industry has changed.
The
Yeah.
yes, the industry has changed, and it's stayed the same.
Yeah, it's crazy that vinyl's coming back, but I get it because I can buy a book on Kindle and it's just like, meh. Is there something about touching it, buying the CDs, hearing that wrapper open up, pop open, and getting that disc and putting it in? I just really enjoy that stuff.
Yeah, I picked up the Boy Genius album, and when you hear it in your car, and then you hear it in my studio over, these, obviously I have some really nice gear, so I get the warmth of the vinyl, and the actual intent of the song becomes that much more pungent. And if they wanted to, you can almost feel them like coming out of the vinyl and just smacking you around a little bit, like wake up, right?
Yeah,
So yeah, I agree. It's all in whatever trend is going on, but I wish more people would trend towards buying something that they can tangibly hold on to.
right.
Because music is a memory, a stamp in your life passport, if you will, right?
Yeah.
So, and I think more and more younger fans that are coming in, they kind of see it that way. Like, world's gone to shit. I'm going to go to a good concert, and then I'm going to take something home and I'm going to listen to it. And I'm going to put my big old headphones on and I'm going to forget the world has gone to shit, right? So
What advice would you give to emerging artists?
don't let anybody tell you can't do it. I've been told that so many times. I'm still here. I'm still selling things. I'm still booking shows. Like, eventually, if you believe in what you're doing and your band believes in what you're doing, then the rest is neither here nor there. Just keep doing what you're doing. There's a new artist, a newer artist out of Austin that she opened up for us at the 13th floor. Her name was June Rise, and she hadn't been around long. And she said something to, like, I can't remember. She said it in her speech as she was on stage about how she struggles or something to that extent. And I just kept thinking, just keep doing what you're doing. People
Yeah.
will catch up to you as long as you stay true to who you are.
Perseverance, for sure.
Right.
What's something about the music industry that most people don't realize?
It's a shit show. Whew. It is. Like, when even the big people are telling you it's a problem. Even when you've got artists like Tom Morello from Rage Against the Machine, and even lately, some of the things that Bruce Springsteen has said, and that Adele has said, and Taylor Swift, and I mean the list is long. Like, we have been beaten down by corporate America, and at what point does that stop being, you know, the case? Again, it just goes back to the whole interwebs thing. The interwebs ruined it for everybody.
Yeah.
Right? On one end, they made music accessible to everybody, but on the other end, the Beatles were famous around the world. Like, you know, we don't need some of the garbage that's happening. But then now you've got, like I've been complaining about so far during this interview. I mean, you got Spotify making millions off of us, and then people are getting checks at the end of the year for $42. I mean, there's something wrong with that.
Yeah.
When they're putting your song into a movie and your royalty check is $1,000. There's something wrong with that. When the
Yeah.
movie makes, millions, hundreds of millions. I mean, yeah, the list is long.
Yeah.
The list is long. I try not to think about it because it makes me sad.
Yeah.
It's sad, it's depressing, it's disheartening. I mean, there's like 1,000,001 reasons why you should not be a musician, followed by the 100 million reasons why you should, which is people need music.
Yeah.
There's always going to be some kid who hears a song and decides, maybe I don't take my life tonight. That's the battle. That's the purpose,
Yeah.
you know? So 1,000,001 reasons to not be a musician, 100 million reasons to continue on, to tell the
Yeah.
story so that nobody feels alone.
Yeah.
It blows my mind when you'll see somebody and they, like even us, we have like 4,800 followers, right? Almost 5,000. And sometimes we'll have 10 people show up to shows. And granted, yeah, I get that they're just kind of scattered all over the place, right? I get it.
Yeah.
That's why that the one statement that I do believe, it's like if you have 1,000 true fans who listen to your song at least once a day, over the time, yeah, that does add up. However, then you add in those same people, and if they don't invest the energy enough to pick up the vinyl or pick up the CD, then your check is still $4.23 or whatever, right? The struggle is real. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing with my life. So,
You're following your dream and your purpose,
uh,
and you're saving that kid.
right. Yeah. I think I've gotten a couple of good letters that have kept me going sometimes myself. So I
Good.
feel it. So I feel it.
Indie music is a journey of resilience, growth, and carving your own path. Onizumi has been doing just that. Let's take a look at where they've been and where they're headed next. So, some fun questions. You ready?
Ready.
All right. If you weren't a musician, what would you be doing?
It's the underwater basket weaver an answer. Uh, you know, I'm I was blessed with my mom's business sense and my dad's gift of gab. And so by day, I find myself constantly in jobs where I am trying to get people to not be so hard on themselves and to look at what they're doing from that 30,000-foot level so they could stop making their life so hard. That said, I have no idea. See, it's the one thing I've been good at, and I don't, I have days where I don't think I'm that good at it. So, you know,
Yeah.
ever a critic of my own self.
Yeah. Same here. What's a surprising fact about you that fans might not know?
I pick up languages very easily to support my love of the U.S. women's national team. So, and what I mean by that is wherever they are, I'll learn whatever language it is so that I can at least order myself a sandwich and a beer at the game. So I went out, I've been to the last three different World Cups. I went to the one in Canada, then I went to the one in France, and those are the kinds of things that I will do. I will totally follow that team around. I just enjoy the vibe. The people are so much fun. I've done it by myself. I used to take my niece with me all the time. But yeah, I love women's soccer, and I've made some interesting friends because of that. So I was actually behind this here for soccer fans. I was behind the goal when Carly Lloyd kicked the ball from midfield. Uh, it is part of the winning World Cup team when they beat Japan. So it was like three aisles back, right there. So it was a good time.
So if I replayed it, I could see you.
You might be able to. My niece had this like these little sparkly things on her head, and yeah, we look like a bunch of goobers, but yeah. And then I have 7 jerseys of the official ones because
Oh,
so yeah, I'm that person.
yeah. Nothing wrong with
We'll
that.
we'll
Everybody has
travel
their thing.
we'll travel for soccer. Yep.
Yeah. That's great. What's currently on your playlist?
I have been listening to a lot of Ren, and that guy, he does the rap as well as he does the singing. His lyrics are just keep my jaw on the floor. He's just so quick. Yeah, that guy blows my mind. But before that, A lot of Phoebe Bridgers, a lot of Julian Baker, Lucy Dacus. I never get her name right. Her album's spectacular. Patty Griffin, she just dropped an album or a single. I think the album comes out soon. I met Patty Griffin many, many moons ago at the Mercury Lounge in Austin, and I don't think anybody realized it was her because she was just standing against the wall. She had her arms crossed and she was watching, I want to say it was maybe Rachel Yamagata, and I knew it was her. And I sat there and I struggled because Patty fucking Griffin. Like, how is no one like surrounding this woman? And I got up the nerve and I walked up to her and I said, I love your music. And she just looked at me and she smiled and she went back to watching. I was like, okay. And I'm out. I'm going to go to the bathroom and then I'm going to get a beer.
Yeah.
There was that part of me that just wanted to hug her. Like, her music. Good grief. You ever want to cry? Just listen to some Patty Griffin, right?
That powerful, huh?
Yeah. If you haven't, 1000 Kisses, that album's amazing. The song Rain. Oh, I could be in the best mood and that song will come on. I'm like, oh,
Listen to it.
that woman. There's a power. She's a very tiny lady. I totally get if you ever watched Kelly Clarkson's show. Kelly Clarkson was doing an episode and it was during pandemic and somehow they arranged for Patty Griffin to hop on via video chat. And she was going to go talk to whoever was on video. She didn't realize it was Patty Griffin. And the minute that she sees it's Patty Griffin, she loses it and falls down and like starts to hyperventilate. It's the greatest thing because I totally get it. Like if ever I had the opportunity to write and do a song with somebody, it would be her. She's just amazing. All of her stuff, even her bad stuff is amazing.
Yeah.
That's how good she is, I think.
Oh my goodness. You hear that, Patty?
Yes. Patty Griffin, please, one day. I'll do whatever you want. You want me to just play a little bell? I'm in. I can do it in time. I'm a pretty good drummer.
So what can fans expect next from you?
Ooh, a complete rebrand of the band. We're working on that right now. We are in the studio right now. We're working on brand new songs. We will probably, and because if they're watching this, they'll know before anybody else. Because we're not doing a lot of social media posting or anything. But we're probably going to drop a single right at the beginning of August. Is sometime no later than August, middle of August. It's going to be the first production in a long time where the only thing I'm doing is playing guitar and singing. There's stuff online that I have literally played everything on, and there's stuff online where I've played multiple things on. This is the first true collaboration of musicians sitting in a room and coming up with something that's hopefully really, really, really good. So I'm really, really proud of these guys. Like I said, I had to go through a lot of murky, muddy waters to find these two, and I'm really excited about what's coming.
So where can people follow your journey?
For right now, they can still look up Onisme. You're going to see if you do that, even the website, it's just onisme.com. Everything has been scaled back. And so if people have been paying attention, because I've gotten a couple of messages already like, what's going on? Because I have removed so many, like the only thing on Instagram is a post of the logo that we did. That's it. The website has been scaled back to just music and that's it. But all of the upcoming things, the rebrand, all the notifications about that, it's all going to be there. So just keep looking up Onisme and you might hear something pretty soon.
Nice, very nice. Anything you want to add?
Stay in school, kids. It's good for you, but not lately. So never mind. Do what you want to do. I'm just kidding. Is that politically correct? I'm gonna have a bunch of angry parents telling me, "What are you doing?" Yeah. Life's too short. Just be who you want to be. Find a couple of good friends. Like you said, you have like maybe 5, 10 really good friends. Everything else washes out in the end. So just hold on to your people tightly and show them love. if you've supported me at any time and you're seeing this episode, thanks, because it's the little tidbits here and there from different people throughout the years that have kept me going when I have seriously contemplated being a normal human being, whatever that means. But because they might have said something. In particular, I have one friend um, who I found via an online. I want to say it was back when when Tumblr was all the rage, and her name is Liz. Liz, I don't want to ruin this, but I believe it's Liz Warsniak. I think that's how you. I met her, and she's one of those people that I really want to meet in person one day. And she is one of those people that she came across my music when I was thinking, I think I'm done. I don't know if I have anything left to say. And then she said something nice, and I was like, I guess I'm not done. And that keeps happening. So if you're a musician, that keeps happening too, that's your sign. Keep the faith, keep going.
Onizumi reminds us why independent music is so vital. It's raw, it's real, it comes straight from the heart. A huge thanks to Eline for sharing her story with us today. If you haven't yet, go check out their music. You'll feel every note. And thank you for tuning in to Texas Women in Music. I'm Shauna Rose, and I'll see you next time with more inspiring voices and unforgettable stories from the women shaping the sound of Texas.